Let's now move to the multi-party arbitration and procedural complexities. And my question would be about what are some common legal challenges or objections raised against consolidations and joindering in arbitration proceedings?
That's an excellent question, and one that is very timely. The ICC's statistics on multi-party arbitrations indicate that nearly a quarter of all arbitrations, perhaps more in some years, are multi-party. So that means when we think about arbitration agreements, very oftenly we think of agreements between A and B, party A and party B, when in fact the world is more complicated. In fact, the world very often today has both multi-party but also multi-contract disputes. Contracts that are between not just A and B, but between A, B, C, D, E, and F, in often complicated relationships. Commercial transactions today tend to be complex, and parties can have equally complex roles depending upon the ingenuity and creativity of corporate lawyers. One can also have multiple agreements that affect the same relationship. Think about project finance, think about joint venture, think about many types of sales arrangements where multiple contracts exist. And in all these cases, arbitrations can arise when disputes arise. If the parties have included arbitration clauses in a multi-party contract or in the various multiple contracts in a multi-contract relationship. And the types of disputes that can arise are obvious. In a contract involving multiple parties, the claimant, let's say A, may choose to bring an arbitration against several respondents, B, C, and D. And those parties may argue that they're only obligated to arbitrate in a bipartite, not a multi-party arbitration. And tribunals, also arbitral institutions, need to address those rules. For the most part, arbitral institutions and tribunals, also national courts, have had little difficulty concluding that if you have an arbitration agreement in a contract between multiple parties, that agreement binds all the parties and permits one party to commence arbitration against any or all of the other parties. It could start an arbitration against just B, or it could start an arbitration against B, C, D, and E, the way I described it wished to, and that would be nonetheless an arbitration brought under a valid arbitration agreement.